Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Captain Canada. Today, I'm catching up with a very old friend who I haven't seen in... Do you know how long it's been, Cameron?
Probably around 20, 25 years.
Keep going, buddy. Last time I saw you was 1989.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1989. So that's what, 32 years?
Yeah, 31, isn't it? 1989? Yeah, about 31 years.
Well,
yeah.
we're in 20.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're in. We flipped the calendar now. So 32.
I'm adding tax. But anyway, folks, this is Cameron Hyndman. Cameron, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
All right, you've covered everyone. Cameron and I used to go to high school together in Bramalea. Those were the days, eh, buddy?
That's when we had hair and you had an accent.
I did, and so did you. You had a different one too.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was just thinking that when I was watching some of your videos, but your previous videos. But then it took me a second to realize that you've now been in Canada longer than you were in England, I think.
Combined, yes. Yeah, I was there for 10 years, but it had an effect on my accent. I can still do it, but I
hear it. I hear, and the odd word that you do, I hear it.
Yeah, it still comes out, but I don't know. I got tired of everybody going, what, all the time. You know, you talk funny. So I just figured I'd join the crowd, and it has its effect on you. See, I believe that, and I could be wrong. I'm no scientist with this, but as you're growing up, your vocal cords develop and the muscles in your mouth develop with your accent. And I think by moving to England when I was 10, I developed the English accent, but I still had the Canadian accent there as well, and a little bit by the time I came back. But when I came back, I mean, you can testify to this. I was like, "Yeah, all right, Cameron, you doing, lad? You having a good day?" Yeah. Right? See, I can still do it, but yeah, it changes. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from, I guess, North York. It would be. I was born in Willowdale. My parents, I'm born in Willowdale, the last of 6 to Scottish immigrants. So I'm sort of half generation Canadian. My 3 oldest siblings were born in Scotland. My other 2 were born here.
Right on.
So I was born in Willowdale, moved to Brampton. I guess I was maybe only 8 months old.
Oh wow! So you didn't have any Willowdale accent then?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. No Willowdalean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we as you said, we both had a lot more hair then. Mine was well down my back. Yours was, you had the typical mullet going on, didn't you, for the most of it?
I had the full-on glam rock.
That's right, yeah.
I don't think I ever really did the mullet.
No, it's funny how it disappears. You know, I was looking at pictures the other day on Facebook, and our good friend Mike Onions, he had the full-on hair as well too, and
yeah, I think everybody. I don't think there's anybody who didn't.
But now it seems everybody's got the same sheen.
Yes.
For want of a better word.
Yeah.
So, Cameron, I wanted to bring you on today because you do some incredible work, absolutely gorgeous work with one of the new trends, I guess, that's going on now, the wood with resin in it.
Yeah, the epoxy boards. Thanks.
Epoxy, so it's not resin; it's epoxy.
Well, you can use the terms interchangeably, if you will.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So some people call them resin boards, right? Or, but again, it's epoxy resin.
Right.
So,
and then when you make these things, these are for furniture, or are they what do they call those? QTA boards or something like that?
Charcuterie.
That's it, charcuterie. Showing my intellect there. Is that what you make them for?
I make them for charcuterie boards, yes, but you can use them for anything. The trend originally started with so it started with what's called a river table.
Right.
Okay. Where basically you're taking a wooden slab that'll have it'll be a cross section, not a cross section, rather a slabbed version of a tree trunk.
Right.
Right. A slab, and then because of the bark, it gives you this natural curly edges. and that's sort of started with live edge, right?
Okay.
So you've got this live edge slab, and then all you do is you cut it in the middle,
Yeah.
and then invert it,
Okay.
and then you get this natural rivery looking edge to it. And so people were filling that with epoxy and making tables out of it.
Right. Right.
And that's sort of how it kind of started. So
Yeah.
I do the same thing, but much smaller.
I've seen some of your work. I've never seen it personally, but I've seen pictures of it because you do post stuff on Facebook with it, and
Facebook and Instagram, yeah,
and Instagram. Okay, and it's beautiful, buddy. I got to tell you, the work you make is it's gorgeous. There's really no other way to describe it. By any chance, do you have anything there that you're working on that you could show me, or?
I've got some in various states here.
Yeah.
I'll show you one here. This is one of the first ones I ever made. And this is one of the great things about using epoxy, and that is that you can take a piece of wood that would normally be bound for the fireplace, if you will, and then you can do something like this with it.
Wow.
Right? So it's just, you can see here, the wood here was actually damaged by a colony of ants. This wood comes from a cherry tree that my partner, she grew up with this cherry tree in her backyard. So for 40 years, this tree provided cherries to her and her family.
Buddy, you just told us how old she is.
She's older than that. So
all right. I was going to congratulate you there for a second, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
But the tree eventually died because of the colony infestation. So we had to cut the tree down. So I salvaged the tree from it, and this is just one little piece. This is where you can see all the little bits where the ants had their nest.
Oh, wow. I was wondering how it got the holes in there. That's really cool.
So this type of wood, normally, you couldn't build anything with this.
No.
Right? But if you fill it with epoxy, you can make these neat little boards.
That's very cool.
Right? So there's that one. The actual river boards that you're asking about, here's one here that's being made. So this is being made out of walnut, and all the epoxy is typically clear. Then you have to tint it with some either dye or metallic pigment. So this seems to be the trendy color right now, which is copper.
Oh, wow.
So this just came out of the planer the other day. I still need to sand it. So it's hard to see, but it's still very rough.
It's not. It's beautiful.
So it still needs to be sanded and have an oil finish put on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a typical board.
They're beautiful. It's, I remember back in high school, we all had our things, but your big thing back in high school was guitar, right? You loved to play guitar. Still do. Yeah. Do you? Yeah. I've picked it up and I've taught myself, and I love it. I'm dying to play it most of the time, but I got a new one recently. I got a 12-string Seagull, and nice. It's gorgeous, and the sound on it is incredible. But anyway,
I'll have my 12-string that my parents got for me for Christmas of, I remember it was 1988.
So the year before I ended high school for me.
Yeah, me and my friend Darren McCutcheon, we both got the same. We both asked for the same 12-string and got it. This Yamaha 12-string. I still have it.
I used to have a Yamaha 12-string actually. Yeah, wow. So anyway, but it's amazing to see where you've gone on to with your life. You're an ambulance dispatcher at one point. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. I'm still in the business, if you will. Yeah, I spent 12 and a half years at the Hamilton Dispatch Center. Yeah. Dispatching, call taking 911 calls and processing them for ambulance dispatch. And now I train ambulance dispatchers.
You must have heard some really fascinating things when that was going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting job. That's for sure.
Now, were you one of the many in the group of friends that worked at the chicken place, without naming names?
Chicken place.
It was a chalet of some sort.
Oh yeah, no, I never did.
No, you worked at the place with the claws, right?
Yeah, the rusty crustacean.
The rusty crustacean. Wow. Well, there goes a place that I'm not going to be eating anymore, I guess, with
Yeah.
that thought. But it was funny how all our friends, basically at one point, majority of our friends worked at the one location, right?
There was an automotive parts place as well that half of us worked at
CT?
later on. What's that?
CT?
No,
No?
it was like a buying group, not like a Napa or a CarQuest, but not them.
Napa, CarQuest, if you want to send donations to my channel, that's free. Thank you. Yeah, but you're still in touch with all the old guys, right? Yep, you're frozen on me, I think. Nope,
Yeah,
there
with
you are.
everybody.
With everybody. Yeah,
Everybody.
I've kind of
Yeah, it did freeze. Yeah,
I'm not really I'm friends with Steve and Mike, but I don't really communicate with anybody from back then.
yeah. I think there's only one or two people we've sort of lost touch with. We don't know where they've gone,
Yeah.
but the majority of everybody we do. We all still keep in touch. We do the odd Zoom call now with the lockdown, everything that's going on. We're doing Zoom calls.
Yeah, I
But
can
we
only
always
imagine what they're like.
They've been interesting.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. We usually get together a couple times a year. Eric does this little golf tournament. It's not like real golf. It's made with it's golfing, wiffle balls, practice balls.
Okay.
So the neighbors, they all the properties that join, they put together this 9-hole little golf course. And up until this year, they were 17 years in a row running strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we do that. A lot of us go to that every year.
That's nice.
So yeah, we all try to keep in touch.
Right on. That's good. It's good to keep where you came from in your mind, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice to see how people develop as well. So back to your woodworking. Now, is there a specific name for that?
Yeah, it's the Urban Wood Shoppe.
No, not the, I mean, that's great. I appreciate the name of the company, but I'm talking about the actual process. Is there a name for it?
No, it's just I mean, you're just doing pouring. You have to. I mean, there's a whole process involved, but there's no formal name for it, like turning or cabinet making or anything like that.
Right. And
No.
from start to finish, how long would you say that takes? Like for the copper one that you're still working on?
It's about a week to 2 weeks. But part of the reason for that is because I still have a full-time job, so I do have to do this in my spare time.
Okay. And
right.
just for reference, I guess, you showed me 2 boards there.
Yep.
Give me a price range that those things would be in.
So they're always 12 inches wide, and they come in. I generally do 3 different lengths, so a 16, an 18, and a 24 inch. And the 16 is 125, the 18 is 140, and the 24 is 175, and that's shipping anywhere in Canada.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. So you include the shipping in the price?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, because this channel, I mean, I've done an interview with somebody from Vegas, and that's going up on the channel later today.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends in England, and I'm sure you have friends in Scotland, or family at least in Scotland. This show is going worldwide as a result of being on the internet, right? Would you consider shipping to other parts in the world as well, or do you just mainly ship to US, UK?
Well, I've only shipped in Canada. I mean, I would ship to other parts of the world. I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's just an added cost.
Of course.
Right? So there would have to be a subsidy to it, but other than that, I don't believe there's any real trick to it. You have to put together some custom papers and that, but that's not too hard to do.
No, you can do that. You can get the stuff from that from any post office, actually, I believe.
Yeah. It's an extra little step, and I don't mind it.
Excellent, because I hope that people watching this from outside of Canada or the US, will see what you make, and hopefully they'll get in touch with you. We're going to post up the email address or the website information so you can get in touch with Cameron and ask him about his stuff. You're open to questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And make some of the questions, folks, about the woodworking if you like.
Sure,
Anyway, yeah. So your company, your company itself, now it's a hobby you do, right? So
that's right.
The actual name of it again is?
It's the Urban Wood Shoppe.
The Urban Wood Shoppe.
Yeah, and that's shop with 2 P's and an E.
So it's like,
you'd be surprised at how hard it is to get wood shop into a name that isn't already taken.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I had to get a little creative.
Well, creativity is the source of something. I don't know. There's an expression that goes with creativity, isn't it? Just say yes.
Yes, there is.
Thank you. Thank you. So
we haven't reached that level of wisdom yet.
No, no. Well, you know,
we're not old enough yet.
It's an early day. It's early start for us today, or at least for me anyway. So I'm kind of working my way up to being awake. So what else is going on with you? Anything? Just talk.
That's pretty much about it for now. I mean, like everybody else, everybody's lives have pretty much sort of stopped right now, and well, not stopped completely. I mean, we can't do that, but a lot of things have slowed, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, like everybody else, I'm working from home, and in my spare time, I'm doing these boards and other sort of little woodworking projects. I'm making a table for my mom.
A table?
And I'm making a sofa table for my mom, and I'm going to start learning kumiko, which is a Japanese style of taking small wooden pieces and you make flower patterns and stuff with them.
Is that the cork kind of thing?
No, it's like, have you ever seen, do you know what a shoji lamp is?
No.
Or have you ever seen one of those Japanese sliding doors, the screen doors? Yes. And they'll have all the wood patterns.
Oh, wow.
So the door itself, and I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, so I might be wrong. So before any of the people want to start angrily correcting me,
and they will.
They'll comment on YouTube. I believe that the door is like is like the shoji, or like a shoji lamp, right? But the pattern itself is called kumiko, I believe it's pronounced.
Okay.
And so I like to learn doing kumiko patterns. But what I want to do is I want to blend the kumiko patterns with epoxy.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah, so I'm big into I don't know why, but I'm big into oh boy, what's it called? Clear acrylic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Things right now. I have an electric guitar that's made of acrylic. It's the coolest thing. It's so cool looking. Have you ever done like a completely clear one?
I wouldn't say completely clear. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I'm going to have to...
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so my partner decided that she wanted to get all creative, and she wanted to take the concept of a riverboard and literally make a riverboard. So it's kind of hard to see.
No, that's cool.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and it'll make it a little bit clear, hopefully.
Wow.
You see that?
I do see that. That's very cool.
Yeah, so that's what that is. So that's a board, and it's got moss, and you can't see it, but there's a couple little frogs in there.
Oh.
And the frogs were imported from a maker in Russia.
Wow.
We got them off Etsy.
Wow.
So this is a sort of a project that we've worked on together. She's designed it, and I just did the epoxy and the woodworking part, but she's done all the art part of spacing and where all the little the moss pieces go and the frogs and stuff like that.
That's very cool. Well, she made that one?
Well, we both did. I just did the grunt work. The actual art part was all her.
Okay, right on. And now, I forgive me if I get this wrong, but if I haven't, then it's your fault because you didn't update your Facebook. That's Lily we're talking about, right?
That's correct.
Lily, okay. Because that could have turned out very badly if it wasn't Lily.
Very much so.
Right? Well, not for me. I mean, I just start the ball rolling and leave you to run with it. But so, Cameron, one of the things I like to do on my show, I'm going to bring this up a little bit earlier than I normally do. I like to do a thing that I call 17 questions, okay?
Okay.
They're just random. Well, they're not random questions because I ask everybody the same thing, but they're just questions that give people a bit of an insight as to what makes Cameron tick, for example, okay? So, you ready for this? We're going to give it a go here.
Sure.
All right. Now, let's just keep in mind that there may be children watching.
Okay.
So, all right. So, tea or coffee?
These days, it's coffee.
Yeah.
It started off with tea. Having Scottish parents growing up in the morning, it was always having tea in the morning.
Yeah.
I've sort of migrated to coffee now.
Isn't it funny how, tea and coffee, they've got natural stimulants in them and they're supposed to keep you awake, right?
Mm-hmm.
But growing up in England, we used to have a cup of tea before we went to bed. And we'd fall asleep like nobody's business. Nowadays, falling asleep is not quite as easy, but I don't drink tea anymore. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a connection of some sort there.
Oh, maybe.
How do you have it when you have it? The coffee, that is.
Well, usually the same as my tea, double, but I'm trying to cut out some sugar in that because I'm getting too fat. Right? So I'm trying to get used to having, say, like a full-fat latte without any sugar. Because we have an espresso maker.
Oh wow! Is it the George Clooney endorsed one, or it's a real one?
No, I'm not sure which one he's endorsing.
Little tiny pods like this.
Oh no! This one you actually have to. It's whole bean. You got to grind the beans. You have to set the grind size and everything.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a semi-automatic machine.
Semi-automatic.
Yeah.
All right, cats or dogs?
If I had to pick one, I'd have to say dog.
Dog. Do you have any pets right now?
No. We just have a teenager.
That'll do it. That's.
Well, I should say. I mean, he's still a teenager, but he's 19, so he's.
Oh well, he's young adult.
Quite self-sufficient.
Yeah, set him out the door. Keeping in mind that this is attempting to be a family show, and I know some of your history. So, most embarrassing moment that you would like to share?
Or that I can share.
Exactly.
I remember Eric and I think we were about 19 and we went down to Venezuela, Margarita Island for 2 weeks. Yeah. And the way it was a very, very small airport.
Yeah.
So basically when the plane lands to drop off the next round of people for 2 weeks, as they're coming in, like you see them get off the plane, walk on the tarmac and come into the airport and you're standing there waiting to get on that plane, like almost like waiting for a bus. So somehow through the history of the airport, it became sort of traditional that for those who are leaving to sort of catcall to those who are coming in. Just very playful, like don't drink the water and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So we were there, and when we were leaving, we were doing that. Now, I have to step back a bit because earlier in the trip, I had these baggy bathing suit short combo.
Okay.
So the bathing suit, they're a bathing suit that look like shorts, but they've got that mesh liner.
Yeah.
Well, the mesh liner was very irritable, shall we say.
Okay.
In certain parts.
Okay, yeah.
So I cut out the mesh liner so that I was more comfortable, right? Well, that's what I wore to the airport.
Uh-oh.
And they were very baggy.
Uh-oh.
And we're standing up above everybody as they're coming in, and they're looking up.
Oh, dear.
So as we're sort of trying to catcall them, kind of tease them, one of the guys coming in looks up and says, "Hey, everybody, you can see up his shorts."
Oh,
so
boy.
Kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got like all these hundreds of people coming through looking at your bits.
Well, yeah. Thankfully, I've never had anything like that, but it did bring to mind a situation with Steve.
Oh yeah.
We were in a Mr. Sub or something like that, Oh, Mr. Sub, if you'd care to make a donation, that would be much appreciated. And we were buying food, and it was in the middle of one of Eric's weekend get-togethers, if you
Yes.
know what I mean.
I do.
And Steve had these gray track pants on, but he didn't realize it. He'd kind of cracked the crotch. And and I couldn't help myself. He was ordering his sub, and I said, "Steve, your is hanging out," and it was out of front of his track pants. I've never seen him go red so fast in my life. He's a great guy. He's a really good guy. I like Steve a lot. Anyway,
if that happened to him today, he'd probably walk around all proud of himself.
Yeah, he'd say, yeah. Is he still doing the UFC stuff?
I'm not sure so much anymore if he is.
Yeah.
I know he still likes to work out. Like, he's a big beefy guy now.
Oh yeah.
Like beefy, like not like fat beefy like me.
No, he's solid.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he's really still training in that sense anymore.
Right on. Okay.
But yeah, he still has an interest in that.
Yeah. Does he still got the cauliflower ears going on?
Not so much.
No, it's gone away now.
Yeah, you can still see it there a bit.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Okay, moving on with the questions. Xbox or PlayStation?
On the website, Tom's
well, I don't play either.
Hold on.
If getting the best possible crispness for most games is a priority, PS4 comes out on top. However, when it comes to the premium versions of both,
Just move your lips.
Xbox has an edge. The $499
Okay,
Xbox
stop.
One X plays many titles in native 4K and has the most powerful
Shut up.
What is it?
It's one of those Echo boxes. Echo.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on with you with your answer.
Well, so I don't play either. But if I had to choose, I would probably, for nostalgia purposes, for me, PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I did play some friends of mine when Sony PlayStation first came out. We were all into that. You were playing Resident Evil and stuff like that. When those Tomb Raider,
Right on.
that. So I would probably, not knowing any better, would probably go back to a PlayStation.
Do you remember going back to Eric and Eric's house? That was the place to be, wasn't it, when we were younger?
Oh, yeah, the Nintendo.
Exactly, and Blades of Steel.
Yes.
That
was really interesting. Do you remember the dice?
The dice?
So what Eric did is, because it was the early version of hockey games,
Right.
So you didn't really have a team roster, right? You just had 5 guys and a goalie.
Yeah.
On each team in different colors, and you had your different teams. You know, you still had Chicago and Toronto and all that stuff, but they didn't actually have a roster.
Right.
So Eric devised a system that, depending when your team scored, you would take the time, and through a combination of dice rolls, he would tell you, they would tell you which one of your players scored. So they took the current roster of the hockey franchise,
Yeah.
and he assigned numbers to each of the players.
Wow.
And then based on rolling the dice and the time that you scored, he would say, okay, that goal was scored by, I was Chicago, so that was scored by Chris Chelios and assisted by so-and-so.
Right on.
So we made up our own stats.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember.
That's Eric and his dice, right? And Marvel and stuff like that.
He had a league going, right? And we were all in part of it.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
I used to love that game. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question kind of flows with it. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
iPhone? Wow, you know I've done only a few of these interviews, but every single person has said iPhone.
Yeah.
With the exception of one. Yeah.
Well, I found when I first got into a smartphone, it was just I've been borrowing Lily's iPhone at the time, so I sort of already knew it. I'm not a Mac guy at all. You throw me on a Mac and I'm lost.
Yeah.
But I sort of was already familiar with the iPhone interface, and I wanted to get out of laptops, and I liked the idea of getting an iPad, and so it naturally fit with an iPhone.
Yeah.
And I'm still not a Mac guy, but I won't give up my iPhone. I won't even consider it Android.
No way. You love it.
No.
Throughout your life, have you had any broken bones?
Consciously aware, no.
No.
No. But I did have one of my scaphoid bones was broken, and I didn't know it. And my wrist started bothering me in my late 20s.
Wow.
And when I went to the doctor, they did x-rays, and they saw that I had a fracture in one of my bones, and they figured it actually, because there were some abnormalities in the growth of the bone, they figured I probably sprained it when I was like 10 or 11, like right around when you hit puberty.
Yeah.
Right, or 12, whatever that is. And they figure that's probably when I broke it, treated it as a sprain, and then it never fused back together properly.
Oh.
So I had to have some surgery on my wrist and stuff like that. But
You're all recovered from that now?
Yeah, well, pretty much. It's still, I don't have full mobility with it. Like, I can do that, but with this, like, I can't bend it all the way back still, but still.
Yeah.
But consciously aware of a broken bone? No.
That's good. That's good. One person, dead or alive, that you would bring back to meet with? Or not bring back, I mean, that you would meet with, because, I mean, if they're not dead, you don't want to bring them back, right?
No. You know, it's a toss-up. Up until a year ago, this Friday, I believe it would be, I would have one person that I'd want to speak to, and that would be Albert Einstein.
Okay.
But as of a year, this Friday, the other person would be Neil Peart.
Oh, yeah, that's sad, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know which one. I mean, Neil Peart's probably had more of an impact more consciously in my thoughts than Einstein, but
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of physics. Not that I understand it. It's like going to the art gallery and not even being able to paint stickmen, right? Which I can't do by the way.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
But I love physics and stuff, and Albert Einstein's a pretty big guy.
He was right up there. And what would you ask him?
I'd be curious to see his reactions to some of his predictions.
Yeah.
Right. So one of his predictions, of course, was gravitational waves, which, of course, wasn't actually proven. Concrete evidence of gravitational waves wasn't actually proven until about, I believe it was 4 years ago with the LIGO experiment. Right. They were only theorized, and that's it. But they actually proved every single one of his predictions has been proven.
Wow.
And I'd be curious to see what his reaction would be to it.
Similar kind of guy would be, oh boy, his name just went right out of my mind. Stephen Hawkins.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And some of the stuff, even since he's passed away, and he passed away recently, that was
earlier this year, I think it was. Was it this year or last year?
Well, this is only 3 days old, so I hope not.
Stephen Hawking? Oh, no.
No. This year is only 3 days old.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting we've changed the calendar.
Get out of your house, man. Go to your driveway at least. But even since he's passed away, you know, the stuff that he predicted that's been proven accurate. Mm-hmm. So geniuses, is that it? Genii? I don't know, maybe. Whatever. Favorite movie?
Oh, that's so hard to pick. We'd almost have to break it down to a genre, but I would think I'm trying to think of a movie that I've watched over and over again and never really have an issue watching it over again. There's probably Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, that's a great film.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I mean, also most of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU stuff, most of it, I could watch. Yeah, there's a couple I could do without. But most of that as well, I like to watch. But definitely, Shawshank's probably one of my all-time favorites.
Who's your? Okay, hold on. We're going to play a little bit of a side game here. I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to ask you, and don't say it out loud yet.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you who your favorite Marvel character is. Okay?
Hard one.
Well,
Okay.
all right. Cameron,
Yeah.
who's your favorite Marvel character?
Iron Man.
What? What? Now, I didn't show you the other 12 stack that I've got up here under here, but
But I'll tell you why it is. It's because I admire intelligence, and the character is super intelligent. That character can do so much without powers and without suits,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I admire about the character itself.
he's a very smart character.
Right.
Favorite holiday destination? Now, it's not going to be anywhere with a departures level that's higher and looking down onto the tarmac, I'm assuming, but
So far, out of all the places I've been in the world, it would still have to be Scotland.
yeah?
Yep.
How often do you go there? Has it been a while since you were there, or do you go fairly
It's
frequently?
been about 6 years since I've been there, but I've been there about 10 times.
And where do you, where's your main stay when you go there?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see all the castles and stuff?
Oh yeah. Because I have family in Edinburgh, and in the surrounding countryside of Edinburgh. So I usually stay there, and then at some point I'm always going up into the Highlands, somewhere.
You have
So
to.
the last time I was there was with me and my cousin Alan. We had this. It was like a Winnebago, like a camper van, from like 1972. It was this
Nice.
old thing. The thing couldn't go more than say 40 miles an hour.
Nice.
Somebody lent it to us, and we went all the way up to and across the sky with this thing.
Nice.
And people were just passing us and honking and sort of like laughing with us at this old jalopy that we were driving. It was probably one of the funniest times, the funniest week of my life.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things were pretty awesome. Pineapple on your pizza.
Yeah, I'd never order it, but I'd eat it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love it.
There's where is it there's a place in Italy. I don't know if you've seen the video of it. It's the Neapolitan pizza or something, the margarita pizza or something like that.
Okay.
And it's like this area in Italy, like this is the margarita pizza that it's known for. It's almost like this is the birthplace of it.
Okay.
Like, you're driving along the road and you see somewhere that says home of the all day breakfast. No,
Yeah.
This place actually is the home of this margarita pizza. And
Best
so
coffee in the world. Remember that?
Yeah. So as a joke, what they did is a couple of the local pizza places, they put pineapple on the pizza. And you should see the reactions of some of the people when the person's going to the house with this pizza with pineapple, like they're losing it.
Yeah. What
And
is
like,
this?
Oh, they get almost violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
ready to fight. Yeah, you should go look it up on YouTube. It's hysterical.
I'll check that out. Real or fake?
Not sure what we're talking about there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Christmas trees.
Oh, definitely fake.
Okay.
Yeah, real Christmas trees terrify me.
Really? Why is that? You never know what's in them?
Well, there's that, and they're so easy to go up in flames.
Yeah, they dry up so quickly.
Yeah.
If you had one thing that you could redo in your life, a do-over, what would it be?
Probably my career choice.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's sort of how I got into woodworking, as I always thought, if I could go back and do it all over again, I'd be a cabinet maker. Then one day I thought, you know what? You don't have to wait to go back and do it. You can do something along the same lines now.
Why not?
Sort
Right?
of reinvent part of yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of what I'm doing with my woodworking. But if I could go back, I would definitely go back and do a trade or a craft of some sort.
Yeah. Right on.
'Cause-
Right on. That's a good choice. Mine would probably be having what I had for dinner last night. But anyway, no. No, I was good. I'm just kidding, Heidi. If you're watching this, which I know you will be, your favorite show to binge watch?
House.
House. You like that?
Love that show. Yeah.
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 Have you ever watched The Good Doctor?
Yes. Yeah. We still got to. I can't remember. Did it finish with season 4? I can't remember how many seasons it is. I think we're a
It
season
hasn't
behind.
finished yet. It hasn't. Season 4 hasn't finished yet. They just went on some kind of sabbatical, I guess, and they're coming back. I think on the 11th.
Okay. So we've watched then the first 3 seasons then.
Good
I mean,
show
it's
too.
not quite the same as House. I mean, obviously nothing will be because that was
Yeah.
sort of a groundbreaking show. But I do like it. Yes, I do like The Good Doctor.
I like how they show all the thought process of what he's thinking on House and A Good Doctor too.
We've been thinking of sort of putting this game together because we've watched House so many times that it's funny that you start seeing people who were patients or family members of patients and then seeing them in other episodes, other TV shows.
Yeah.
You know, like a Star Trek Voyager or Next Generation or something like that. You'll start seeing them crop up here and there.
Right on.
And so it's fun to sit there and say, oh, that was that person, and this was their diagnosis.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been thinking of putting together a big giant spreadsheet.
Why
and
not?
start ticking them off.
Cross reference.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that because the other day we were watching The Good Doctor, and do you remember in House? Well, you will, I guess. He had a coworker that was like his go-to guy, like his best friend.
Yeah, James Wilson.
Right. He was in an episode of The Good Doctor, and
Yes, he was.
At it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Buddy from House, and then the executive in the hospital, his House's boss, the woman.
Yeah, Lisa Cuddy.
Right.
So
she's in The Good Doctor too.
Doesn't she play a lawyer?
No, she plays a brain surgeon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's another show that she was in that she played a lawyer. That's Lisa Edelstein, I believe her name is.
That's it. Yeah. Good Irish name, I think. But
sounds it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
who's your favorite character from The Good Doctor?
Yeah, she's actually okay. So The Good Doctor has an older friend that looks after him, or looked after him when he was a kid, and she is actually that character's surgeon because he has brain cancer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So she's his surgeon.
That's right. Who would be your favorite character from The Good Doctor?
Who is my favorite character? Yeah. I like the girlfriend, the one that's become his girlfriend now, the neighbor. Yeah. I can't remember her name, but
I think it starts with an M.
Sure.
I'm probably wrong.
Sure, we'll go with that. But isn't it Rebecca? Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's good. I think she's good for Sean. She treats him as a normal person, and I really think that's important to do, you know. So, yeah, I like that. Yeah. You? Who's your favorite in House? House?
In House? I'm not sure who my favorite would be. I think the character that I'm probably most impressed with is Taub.
Taub?
Chris Taub.
Oh, okay. I don't know him, but
so he's the guy who used to be a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, I stopped watching it too long ago, I guess. I haven't seen.
Well, what I find is that a lot of the other doctors, they've gone through their residency, they've done their specialty training, and then they've gotten a fellowship with House.
Okay.
Right. Chris Taub. So he went through his specialty as a plastic surgeon, and then had a specialty, like a practice. So he practiced plastic surgery for a number of years. One reason or another, he loses that practice, and he joins up with House, and he's keeping up with everybody.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I find. I think he's probably the most underrated character on there. It's like all these people, that's what they've been doing, is they're specializing in all these systems, like the nervous system, infectious diseases. He specialized in boob jobs, right? I mean, there's more.
I knew it was going somewhere.
But that's what I'm saying is that he specialized in that. Yet he's coming back and knowing down pat cardiovascular systems, neurological systems. And I find that it's kind of underrated the fact that he could keep pace with all these other people.
Yeah, that's cool. Very good. Okay. Now I know the answer to this, but maybe tell us something that I haven't already talked about. Do you play any musical instruments?
Just guitar.
Just guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have room for anything else.
No, well, yeah. I don't know. You could get a flute or a penny whistle or, harmonica.
I've always thought when I retire, I wouldn't mind learning piano, just getting like a little Casio keyboard or something.
I've got one behind the flag here, but I do actually. It's in the cupboard, folded away, but your favorite band, and I think I know the answer to this too. Starts with R, rhymes with mush.
That'd be it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Rush, absolutely.
I almost at one point, quite a few years ago, I was driving down Yonge Street one morning, and Geddy Lee stepped right out in front of my car. I had to slam on the brakes, or I was going to kill him and his dog. He had a little dog at the time, and he stepped right out in front of me on Yonge Street. I was like, "What the Geddy Lee?"
Yeah, Lily ran into him at a little one of these little mom and pop grocery stores or something like that years ago
in Toronto.
Yeah.
Was he? Did you talk
never
to
have.
him?
I wouldn't know what to say either. So
you'd be. You used to watch Cheers. I remember. I've been watching a lot of Cheers lately. We all used to watch it. And you remember when Norman Cliff were sitting at the end of the bar, and there were these good-looking women in the bar, two good-looking women, and they started talking to Norman Cliff, and they were both like, bah! They couldn't speak. You'd probably be like that if you met him, right?
Yeah, a friend of mine was like, he met Alex Lifeson. A friend of mine worked for a banquet hall, and the owner of the banquet hall was friends with Alex Lifeson. And so he brought people from the banquet hall to his home to host some event. And Alex Lifeson came along, and he said to my friend, he says, "Oh, go downstairs." And he had a big wine cellar. He's a big rich guy, right? He's got this wine cellar in his basement. He says, "Go downstairs and grab Alex this certain type of wine." And Alex says, "Well, I'll go down with him, make sure that he gets the right one." So my friend, big Rush fan as well, is now downstairs alone with Alex Lifeson, with one of his idols.
Wow.
And he's just like, yeah, he wouldn't even look him in the eye. And he kept calling him Mr. Lifeson. And finally he goes, "John, my name is Alex. Say it, Alex."
He seems like he was in that one episode of the Trailer Park Boys. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And he seems like such a nice guy.
He was actually in a TV show for a little while. I can't remember what it was called now, but I don't know if it was one episode or a couple episodes.
Wasn't it the Republic of Doyle? He was a cop or something in it?
I can't remember now. But I knew it was something. I saw a quick clip of it.
The Beachcombers, maybe. I don't know. There was another show there that reminded me. What the heck? You just talked about it. Anyway, it'll come back to me, maybe. Okay. Best concert you've ever seen?
Probably it would definitely be a Rush concert. It would be their last show back in here in Toronto back in 2015.
All right, that's fair.
So they weren't announcing that they were retiring or anything like that, but I had a feeling that would probably be their last show.
Wow.
Or not their last, that this would be their last album, because I know they were, getting up to their mid-60s at the time. And I figure they probably wouldn't come out with another album. So I just sort of treated that as that's going to be the last show. And fortunately, it did turn out to, I should say fortunately, it was the last tour, the last album. Fortunately, that I treated it as that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
In my mind, I sort of like farewell.
Yeah,
so.
That's good. That's good. I don't know if you remember what I was listening to. Pardon?
You too.
Yeah, and that I saw them not too long ago. Well, it was a few years ago, at the Air Canada Center. which not the Air Canada Center anymore. Air Canada, if you'd like to send an endorsement check. Rogers Center it is now, I guess. And their
They gotta
show,
send you an endorsement check.
yeah. So it wasn't an indoor one. It was the Rogers Center, and they opened the roof, and it was amazing. This show, it was just incredible, like on a massive scale. But I know what I was going to ask you. Did you ever see the movie I Love You, Man?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the slap of the bass, and they were doing the Rush concert in that, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that was that was hysterical.
That's
they
a
actually
great
did
film.
an outtake of that. They showed a clip of that on one of my Rush DVDs.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I think they're friends with Paul Rudd or something like that. Like they know him or something like that, or the producer of the movie or something they know.
Yeah.
Same thing with South Park, because it's a couple Canadians that are some of the creators of South Park.
Right.
So through the entertainment industry, they become friends with the people from South Park, and that's why Rush was featured in a couple South Park episodes. And
I didn't know they were in them. I did not know they were in that.
They actually got South Park to do one of their song intros. They did a little animation for the, you know how like a lot of bands will have a backdrop screen? So they got the South Park to do a little skit to introduce one of their songs.
Now, in the song, did Rush have heads like footballs?
No, it was actually it was I don't know all the characters. It was Cartman, Kenny, and I forget the other guy.
Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle. And they were playing Tom Sawyer. But Cartman was changing the lyrics, and they got in an argument over him changing the lyrics. And they said, all right, let's take it from the top. They said a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3. And then the band kicked in. And
nice.
it was pretty cool.
And they got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the last question. If you are reincarnated, what would you want to be reincarnated as?
Like a person or an animal?
Your choice.
If it had to be an animal, I think I'd like it to be an orca.
An orca.
Yeah.
Nobody
very messes with an orca.
No, very majestic animal. They're impressive beasts. Let's say that.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about getting eaten.
Not much. No, because I saw a documentary about orcas, and they've been attacking sharks, but going right for their liver, like a surgeon. They'll open the shark up and attack specifically its liver.
Oh.
Yeah, and they've been finding bodies of sharks, like great whites, with no liver, and they couldn't figure it out why. And then eventually they saw it happening. But they're amazing creatures. They adapt like crazy. If a certain food source isn't available, they'll seek out a new one that's suitable. You're kind of glitching on me there a bit.
Find it people like on the paddle boards and stuff, and the orcas are swimming underneath them.
Yeah, it's like they know not. There's no point in eating that. Oh, we got a frozen Cameron.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw the one the other day where they have the guy in the kayak, and a whale comes up underneath him and just takes him into its mouth. That would scare the Jesus out of me. That would scare the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
Sorry, getting dry over here. So that's the end of the questions. I told mine yesterday.
Oh yeah. As much as I like it.
Okay, you're lagging behind here, so I'm going to ask you. Now it looks like you're back.
Yeah, and it's funny because right router.
Say that again.
There we go. Yeah. I guarantee you, it's this laptop of mine.
Well, it happens.
I said, I guarantee you, it's the laptop of mine.
It happens. That's the beauty of this interview format, right? We're just talking, and things are going to happen. Who cares? It's just two people shooting the breeze. So, I told somebody mine yesterday, and I thought it was a great one. If I get reincarnated, I'd like to come back as my daughter's child so I could see what kind of mother she has become.
That's interesting. There's almost some sort of time paradigm there too.
Yeah, yeah. But I think
interesting.
I love my daughter to bits. She's a really cool person. And I think I'd really like to see, what she's become and how much
is she
of
now?
She's 14. She'll be 15 in May.
Mm.
Yeah. Fun times.
At the age, almost at the age
what? Sorry?
freezing.
You're freezing.
I said at the age that we were when we first met.
Well, maybe I was considerably older than you guys because I came back from England. I was 18 when I came back from England. And then I went to BSS in 88. No, in 87. And because I wanted to become a cop. But so I had to upgrade my English schooling. And so I went back there for 2 years, graduated. Actually, I graduated before, but I was helping out in the music department and just hanging out because I had nowhere to go. But yeah, I was the one with the valid ID.
Yeah, I remember that. People always bug you to go to the liquor store that for them, and it's like you're.
Yeah,
that would be a bit annoying. I can imagine.
I didn't care. I was just grateful to have people to hang out with. I mean, coming from England and having nobody over here, it was a tough transition. I got to tell you. And I'd already done it once going to England, right? So it was pretty tough, but yeah, we got through. You always do, right? You just keep chugging along.
Yeah.
So going back to your woodworking again, we touched base on it a little bit, but there's a whole process that goes into that. You have like a frame that you put it in?
Yeah. Do you want to see one?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great.
So this is one of my 24-inch molds.
So what is that? Plastic tray that you've just put
it's made out of melamine, but like kitchen cabinet material.
Interesting.
And then I tape basically tuck tape over it.
Okay.
So you can
Duct
use
tape,
any
if you'd like
sort
to
of
send
material.
An endorsement check. Sorry, I'm just got to get
I use sheathing tape.
Okay.
All right. So I use a non-generic sheathing tape.
Very good. Very good.
And so you could use any sort of material you want. But it's when you put the sheathing tape over it, basically the epoxy won't bind to the sheathing tape.
Oh, really? So it's easy to get them out?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You can just, I have a little miniature crowbar, and I just kind of wedge underneath, and I just pop it out.
Wow.
Now, there's another trend that's going on, and people are using these molds that are manufactured out of a material called the HDPE. I think that stands for high density
polyurethane.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. And those things, what they're doing is they're making, they're coming, they don't have any, they're seamless, if you will. So with these here, what I have to do is I have to run some caulking down here, like silicone caulking, right? Because epoxy won't bind to the silicone, and this way it stops the form from leaking.
Okay.
So you can buy these no-seal forms, and then the boards are easy to get out, and you don't have to do any of that. However, they cost you about $150. I made that for $10.
Wow. Smart.
So,
very smart.
Yeah, that's originally how the whole thing started, was with homemade forms like that.
And how did you get into it?
The epoxy itself, I just saw people making these river tables. and I liked them, and I wanted to try it, but I knew that a table would be too big because I literally, it is a home-based business. I work in my garage and here in the basement, right? So doing a full table would be too much.
Yeah.
And then I saw some people doing smaller charcuterie boards, and I thought, well, that would be fun. So, and I'd like to make a little point about that, by the way, for everybody who's watching. You'll see some websites or maybe some videos, and they'll call them cutting boards. And they'll even, like, if you see like a regular cutting board with a little groove around the edge,
yeah.
So that's like a juice groove.
Okay.
And so when you cut your meat, some of the juice and blood will come out and it goes in that little groove there. You'll see people will make these epoxy boards with the juice groove. Don't buy them.
Why is that?
Because what's going to happen is your knife is going to chew up the face of that epoxy.
Oh.
And your board is going to look pretty bad pretty quick. They're not
right?
Cutting boards, but people are calling them cutting boards. And you're spending a lot of money on these boards, and you're just going to ruin the face of it.
Wow. So epoxy is, would you say it's a fairly soft material?
Yeah, it is. It'll feel hard, but it is softer than wood. I mean, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some experiments where they're holding one of these river tables will hold a couple of 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
So they're pretty strong, but when it comes up against the knife, no, you'll scratch them in an instant. I've had to redo my entire sanding process where I've gotten right to the end and I've put a scratch in it, and I've had to start all over again. Now, imagine if you're cutting it. So that's what I'm saying. There are people who make these boards that I don't know why they do this. They say, oh, here's this cutting board. Oh, you don't want to do it. You don't want to use it as a cutting board.
Wow. Okay.
So,
good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that whole, I'm going to butcher the name again, charcuterie?
Charcuterie, yeah. A lot of people will pronounce it charcuterie, but technically it's charcuterie. Probably even charcuterie or whatever. It's a French word.
Yeah.
Just
charcuterie.
I think we probably just offended everybody in France.
Yeah,
so,
well, that
sorry,
happens.
France.
Yeah, that's okay. France, if you'd like to send plane tickets to my Cameron and myself, that'd be great. It's really taken off. There's a lot of people doing that. I even tried to do it, but all I had was a plate. So I should maybe look into getting one of your trays there, bud.
Yeah. Well, if you like it.
Yeah. It'd have to be blue because I'm still a huge Leafs fan. Uh-oh.
I'm working on a big blue one right now.
That's nice.
So.
Wow.
So that's maple with what's a deep blue epoxy. And this is going out to a realtor that I know. And he's any client of his that buys or sells a home, this is going to be his gift to them.
One of those.
Yep.
Very cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wow. And how much would that one cost?
$175.
It's not bad considering the work that goes into it and how beautiful they are when you're finished. They really are pieces of art.
Yeah, there is a lot of work, especially the sanding. So it is a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of tools that are used, but it's fun.
Do you use a wet sandpaper on it to smooth it completely, or
nope? No, I use mesh sandpaper, so it's a little bit more expensive. But what it allows you to do is to hook up like a vacuum hose or something to your sander.
Okay.
And it helps to suck up the particulates so that you don't. So when you're sanding, you're actually scratching the surface, right? That's what you're doing. But if the dust builds up too much and binds, it's like basically taking a rock underneath the sandpaper, and now you're gouging it. Yeah. So I use mesh sandpaper to help combat that.
It just sucks right through it?
Yeah, for the most part. That's the other thing. A lot of people, when you picture sanding, right, you're using your tool and you're just constantly going. I'm stopping every 3 seconds, pulling up the sander and blowing it and cleaning it with an air hose.
Like a compressor hose? Yeah.
Yeah, with a compressor hose. So that's
right
one of the techniques that I do to help get a nice, smooth, glossy finish.
Right on. That's very cool. Very cool. The finish, do you stain the wood as well, or do you like you can have it any shade pretty much, or do you leave it natural?
No, it's I don't put any stain or anything on it because then you wouldn't be able to put food on it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Unless you did a top coat of epoxy. Some people, you could do that. You could stain the wood and then do what's called a flood coat.
Okay.
But usually you don't do that with these boards. You just leave the wood natural, and you use what's called a food grade oil finish, which is at its core, it's boiled linseed oil.
Right on. Linseed oil.
Which is very food safe. So
yeah, yeah. That's excellent. Do you have any plugs you want to give? Obviously your company.
Well, if you'd like to, if you're interested, if anybody's interested in, please go to my Instagram site. So at the Urban Wood Shoppe, and every board that I make gets posted there. I don't post every board to Facebook, but I do on my Instagram, and you can see examples of other previous boards that I've made. And you can see, I guess if you want to call it, my signature board is a Pride board.
A what board? Pride?
A Pride board. So I had a friend of mine that I work with that's part of the LGBTQ, I always get that messed up, the LGBTQ community, and he asked me if I could do it in the Pride colors. And so I do, and now that's sort of my signature board. I don't believe anybody else makes them.
That's very cool.
It's quite possible that I am the only person in the world making them.
Well, don't talk too much about that.
Because I can't find
everybody
them.
else on board.
So I can't find them, but while I'm not a member of the LGBT community myself, I am definitely a believer and a supporter of it. And so I love making these boards for people, and I've probably done about 6 or 7 of them. I've got another 3 or 4 orders to go, more going, and I'm hoping to get them going. And next year, well, this year, I keep saying that, this year, I'm also hoping to, at some point, I'm going to introduce transgender board.
Now, how would you do that?
It's just a board because for the transgender flag. So a board that has the transgender colors in it.
I forgive my ignorance, but I didn't realize there was a flag for that.
Well, to be honest, I didn't either until somebody asked. Somebody said something about, oh, do you do the trans flag? And I said, no, I didn't realize there was one. Because I know that there's variations on the Pride flag, the original rainbow flag, and then there's some various versions of it that have different colored chevrons and everything that go in it. But there actually is a transgender flag on its own.
I'll have to look that up.
And I was wanting to wait for a Transgender Awareness Week, but it's not until November, I think it is, and I don't want to wait that long.
I'll have to look that up because I really didn't know there was such a thing. But
yeah. So those are some of my signature boards. But again, we do also the regular, not to say regular, but all the other colored epoxy boards. And if there isn't a color there that you're interested in, let me know. Let's have a discussion because I have done some custom colors before.
Wonderful. You could do a blue and white one.
Oh yeah. I had somebody show me a picture of the outside of their house. And I probably wasn't RGB value perfectly on, but plain sight, yeah, I got the color of the board to match the outside of their house.
Very cool.
So we can I can try to do some custom colors and stuff like that. So lots of colors available out there.
Have any of the old gang bought your product?
Yes. Yeah. Steve Robinson and his partner, they've got a few. Mike Shanks has.
Mike Shanks.
I've got an order in for Gilbert.
Have you?
For Mr. Gilbert. Yeah, I've got an order in for him. He's showed me a kind of board that he's interested in, and this will be a 2-tone board, which will be something different.
Nice.
So it'll have a nice colored base to it with the clear top to it. Sort of like the river board I showed you earlier, but rather than moss, it'll have this turquoise type metallic epoxy. It's going to look really nice as soon as I can find it.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
excellent.
Hard to get the wood right now because of the lockdown.
Yeah, where are you getting it?
Well, there's one main place I go to. I know that Rob won't mind me giving the name of his company.
Go nuts.
Called Concept 13 in Mississauga.
Okay.
But because it's a lockdown, I mean, it's very hard. Rob's doing, he's working really hard to put pictures of the lumber that they have on the website. But for me, myself, I prefer to actually see it. Because I don't just grab a piece of wood and pour some epoxy.
Right.
right? So I pay very close attention to what the wood that I'm selecting. I'm a little bit picky about it.
That's
so
fine. I mean, it's your work, right? At the end of the day, I mean, the piece of wood can tell a story.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to. I've got about 12 boards on back order right now, and it's going to be hard to make them because it's hard to get the wood. So
That happens with age, buddy. Don't worry about it.
What?
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 Did I just say? Who said that?
I thought this was tea time. Tea time.
Yeah.
Time show.
Sorry, kids. Ask your parents what I'm talking about. They'll tell you.
or wait 30 years. You'll get it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, well, listen, Cameron, it's been amazing chatting with you. I love the work that you do. It's absolutely incredible stuff. Anybody, if you're interested in purchasing one of these or learning more about it, drop me a line. By all means, I'll be posting a link to, or at least the address at the end of the video for Cameron's work, and check it out. Have a look. If there's something there, you never know. These things make great gifts for people, and they are something that you can keep forever. I mean, wood doesn't necessarily go anywhere unless you're on in your years, like we just talked about. But that's a different show altogether. And yeah, by all means, give it a look. Cameron, thanks so much for coming here today and for chatting with me and for introducing us all to the charcuterie. Do you like that?
Yeah, very good. Very
board
good.
Industry and business. If you're talking to the guys, tell them I said hi. And if they've got anything they want to talk about, by all means, get them to get in touch with me. I'm sure some of them have got their own little side things going on.
Yeah, Mike Onions owns a couple dealerships, car dealerships.
I know. Forget about it. Mike's a great guy. I was so surprised to see that he went down to the States. I was shocked to find that out, but he seems like he's doing really well down there, and I'm happy for him. You knew he was going somewhere. You had to know that when he was younger. He was definitely a leader, and he's continued in his ways, and he's doing really well. I just realized, looks like I've got a point on the top of my head thanks to the.
It's like a wee crown for you.
It's a wee crown.
Down a little bit.
Doink doink. Yeah. There it is. Look like Jughead Jones. But anyway, Cameron, great touching base with you. I'd like to do more of these with you. If you're interested, you can show more of your wares, and if you get new products, by all means, you can bring it on and introduce it to the world. And other than that, thanks, folks, for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your interest. If you like this video, please hit the like button. What are I keep referring to the people calling it smash the like button now. So do it on your own computer. I don't care. You can smash whatever you want on your own computers. But hit that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and by all means, get in touch with Cameron. Cam, thanks a lot, buddy. Great talking to you. You're my pleasure, my friend. My pleasure. And everybody, go do something great. Take care.